message in a bottle. A majority of data indicators are sounding alarms. No, let me take that back. They are screaming warning alerts that a crisis financially of epic proportions may soon be around the corner. But this shouldn't be surprising to most people who have been cued in on the latest events, because the foundation of this impending reality is rooted in the deterioration of all societal norms. You see, the final seal on Pandora's figurative box has been removed, finally releasing the last putrid abomination from its cold abyss, unapologetic derangement. This seal was abolished by acceptance of political violence, the breaking of boundaries of what was politically cohesiveness, a morally emaciated society, the culling of the family structure, the decaying of national infrastructure, roadways, bridges, and the electrical systems, the willful indulgence of fiscal obesity of the national debt that is so grossly bloated it defies conceptualization, from $370 billion in the 70s to soon be $38 trillion today. That's right. Even the average person can feel it. They may want to ignore it. They may not know where to look exactly, but they instinctively know the cold, rotting fingers of inevitability are beginning their final chokehold. It's a spidey sense that most can feel nationwide that something is off, and the hairs on the back of their necks rising up is telling them so, all culminating to a time of the great looking back with regret phenomenon. This video is a reminder of sorts, before that time. A reminder that this cycle has a repetitious hunger that consumes most, like the time before the Great Depression of 1929, or the time before the Great Wars of 1914 and 1939, a time before the Great Recession of 2008. And once again, we stand on the precipice of one of those particular times. This is why a video like this is so important. It's a snapshot of a particular moment in time and history, a message in the bottle, a time to remind ourselves that nothing lasts forever, and that this particular moment may be one in history where you may look back with regret and say, remember when we had this, or remember when we used to go there to eat, a time when you will reflect on the shows you used to watch, the clothes you used to wear, or the lifestyle you used to have. People always tend to look back on what they had with regret when it's lost, because in most cases they never gave it a proper send-off, because it was unexpectedly violently ripped from them. The sobering truth is, as a CEO, I have dealt with many toxic corporations in the process of reforming them for a very long time. And sometimes a corporation is so riddled with corruptible behavior that it can no longer be saved. And there is a frightening similarity what's happening right now. Nationwide, this is the time of reflection. It's the time I tell employees, when a business is about to close down, to reminisce or take photos of places that they used to love. I call this moment the in-between time, the time before the crisis. You might call this particular moment the eye of the storm. For example, the 2008 Great Financial Crisis, in between time before the Great Sickness Breakout of 2019. This is what's called the in-between time, the calm before the storm. A time where the corporate oligarchy system has now put into motion certain actions that they can no longer control. They are no longer controlling this feral financial beast, and now all they can do is desperately cling to the back of this wild monstrosity, because they know that if they fall off, try to reform it, or try to domesticate it, they too will be its next victims of its unyielding appetite, the crescendo. Before the Wall Street crash and the Great Depression, the similarities were horrifyingly similar to today's disconnected mentality, the same disjointed belief of acting as if everything was business as usual, or to some, they would acknowledge there was a problem, but at the same time contradict that understanding with the unfounded belief that it will never happen in their lifetime, or things have always been this way. Of course, until it did happen, the Great Crash, leading to the Great Depression, leading to nationwide breadlines and a destitute population. Once again, we stand on the precipice of numerous catastrophes, what you might call crisis bubbles. We're living with enormous debt, unsustainable by almost every data point, and experts suggesting that this cannot continue. Another crisis bubble is we're pushing the boundaries past political norms, burning bridges of cohesiveness that can never be returned to. All of this is powered by the same corrosive energy that was the catalyst of most catastrophes beforehand: financial recklessness. It's happening once again, but this time things will be far different, because times have changed and the world is far more fragile than it was in the past. This was demonstrated by the Great Sickness of 2019, with a fatality rate of only 0.5%. But that alone almost fractured every financial system around the world. The economic systems today is held together with duct tape, chewing gum, and expectations. And that's not an exaggeration. The fiat currency is a faith-based currency, literally held up by just hope. This will be the great look back with regret. I cannot say exactly what it will be, and I won't even predict how long it will last. But there is a guarantee that history has proven, that science has consistently demonstrated from causes and effects, that there will be an event of unparalleled proportion financially. Because right now there is a massive game of financial Russian roulette being played. Russkaya Ruletka is a potentially lethal game of chance in which a player places a single round in a revolver, spins the cylinder, places the muzzle against the head or body, and pulls the trigger. Today, this game of deadly financial Russian roulette is being played, with the citizens' livelihood unbeknownst to them. So what can you do? Well, let's put it this way. It was approximately 4 days after the Royal Mail steamer, aka the Titanic, departed from Southampton, England, on its maiden voyage to New York City on April 10th, 1912, that it hit an iceberg. If you knew this was going to happen, what would you do? Would you enjoy the 3 days prior to? Would you cherish the moments of the cruise itself beforehand? Would you take pictures of the opulent scenery? Would you prepare yourself for the inevitable consequence? Because today, the same mentality of those who once believed the Titanic propaganda was unsinkable, the arrogance and conceit of those who were riding on it, that the Titanic was an unsinkable marvel of luxury fated to make it to its destination. That same fairy tale outlook is still alive and well now, because today the financial system is not some lone ship on the icy waters of the sea, but a nation that's riding the unstable currents of a financial tsunami.